Next question I get asked all the time is, Brian, is DeFi the same as trading cryptocurrencies? And again, right now, if you could type into the chat, tell me if you've traded cryptocurrencies. Just say, yes, I've traded crypto. No, I haven't traded crypto, because I'd like to get a sense right now of this audience and what they're doing. And let me just say this. Cryptocurrencies are not the same as DeFi. And let me try to explain that. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are more analogous to assets like gold, whereas DeFi is the actual infrastructure, more like the global financial system, the banks, the insurance companies, the brokerage companies, all of that. That's really what DeFi is more analogous to. And let's look at an example. Gold prices go up and down. Cryptocurrency prices, as we've seen recently, go up and down. And here's the news. They're going to continue to go up and down for probably the next 100 years. This is the reality. But the global financial system always stays present, and it actually innovates over time constantly. Even when we have setbacks like stock market crashes and savings and loan mishaps and mortgage crises, actually the infrastructure constantly improves, which is why you usually get better services online, etc. But that's still centralized finance. One of the great analogies that Andreas Antonopoulos, who's been on my show over the past 6 years, one of the real great experts when it comes to understanding Bitcoin and all things blockchain, he told me this, and I'm going to play this video for you a little bit later. He said, Brian, do you remember back in 2000 what happened with the dot-com boom? And I said, actually, I do, because I was the 27-year-old CFO of a dot-com startup in New York City called LuxuryFinder.com. And here's a quick story. I actually left London in 1999 to take this job as a dot-com CFO in a startup in New York City. And one of my best friends from MIT called me up and said, Brian, he said, get your ass to New York. You got to be part of this revolution, and I got this job for you. And I said, I'm kind of in the middle of here. I'm actually in the financial markets. And he said, this is where you want to be. So I flew back, and within 3 weeks, I had moved back to New York City. I left all my furniture and everything in London. I didn't care. And I started going into the dot-com boom. And everything was amazing, and we were all worth millions of dollars on paper. And in 2000, the market crashed. And the NASDAQ crashed, and I think over $1 trillion of value was lost in that market. Now, that's a good example of an asset price going up and down, like a crypto or the stock price of eluxury.com or the price of Bitcoin. But what happened in the year 2000? Something no one talks about. It was the greatest year for the internet on record. Now, what do you mean by that, Brian? What do you mean the greatest year? Well, clearly it wasn't. The NASDAQ lost half of its value. Yes, but everyone in the world started looking at the internet as a solution to their future. They started using it to buy books and buy jewelry. They started using it to consume content. They started using it for search. They started using it for every day of their life. So actually 2000 was one of the biggest wins for the internet and internet integrated into commerce. And yet we were focused on an asset price that goes up and down and up and down. This is a similar analogy to DeFi. We're going to see Bitcoin go up and down. We're going to see Elon Musk tweet out this and that. But DeFi, as the infrastructure, is going to constantly be improving. And if you had bet on the internet back in 2000, your gains right now would be 100x, 1000x, 10,000x. Think about that. If you had invested in some of those early companies back then, you would be a winner right now. We're going to do the same thing inside my DeFi Academy. And so think about that analogy. Let it seep in.